back to another episode of Youth View. Today's a little bit different. I'm Sophia, and I'm here with Tom, and we have a bunch of other former FCTV members. Would you guys like to introduce yourselves?
Sure. Hi, I'm AJ, and I used to work here a handful of years ago, and I taught youth producers.
I'm June. I was a youth producer from, I think, 2010 to 2014. It's really fun.
I'm Dylan. I was a youth producer for, I don't know the year, 10 years. I think.
Forever.
Nailed it.
Yeah. Good job.
I'm Anthony. I was a youth producer from 2010 to 2014-ish.
I'm Alex. I don't know the years I was a youth producer, but around those years as well.
So, using the new studio, how exactly was it different from when you were all here?
Oh my gosh.
Every way.
It has lights that work.
Lights that work. So we used to have, we had a light board, and occasionally, sometimes like one light would like blink in the back, or it wouldn't quite work. And there's no color. There's no like fancy color like this.
Yeah. We didn't have room to have the other colored curtains elsewhere. They were always in the peripheral vision in like every shot. We definitely did not have a working kitchen in the back over there to do anything with. Our sets were very minimal. We did use this table and this rug a lot, and I'm glad that they're still here. There was also no room behind the cameras. There's lots of room behind the cameras. You can't see it, but there is. There was not before.
Insert
It
shot.
was a mess of cables, and you'd hit the wall, and it was bad.
There's also air conditioning now. We had a bathroom off to the side that was cooler than everywhere else, so everybody got 2 minutes to hang out in the bathroom to cool down, not pass out from heat stroke.
That was a special bathroom.
But don't use the bathroom because everything will explode if you use it.
Yeah,
The
no.
one off the studio, yeah.
Mm.
Yeah.
Storage for sure. There was, the other studio was jam-packed full of stuff, but here there's plenty of room everywhere. We don't have a problem with storage. I can't even tell if there's storage here in the studio. Before it was just packed with all our stuff that we needed for the set.
Yeah, there's actually a new storage closet behind the curtain.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I looked at it when we got out the table and the rug. Not as many props as there used to be, which is surprising, but, it's not at least tucked behind the curtain. I remember AJ would fix it every few months, and then we would promptly screw it up for the class that we got, and then she'd yell.
And then I would yell. I kind of loved yelling at you guys.
Yeah.
Just hang up. Is there a ficus plant?
Apparently all the plants are outside.
Yeah,
plants are
the
outside.
absurd amount of plants that, for one of our last things that we filmed in the old studio, we crammed every single plant into the shot. They're now scrambled all through the building.
That's awesome.
I did see in the prop room there was 3 remaining branches of one of the plants.
There's
Nice.
also some of our fake fruit is in
Yeah.
a box in there.
That's good to know. Good to know.
But Lieutenant Barky von Schnauzer is gone. That's what we named the Dalmatian, or what he named the Dalmatian.
Mhm.
And then we also had a giant rubber duck named Francine, and Francine is also no longer around, which is sad.
Maybe Francine will have to come back. I don't know. Maybe it'll show up here one day.
A moment of silence for Francis. All right.
So, when you were here, what was one of your favorite things that you liked to do?
Well, I'll let you guys start with that.
Take it away, June.
Well, one of my favorites was doing the Youth View. I don't know if I started it. I think I did.
You kind of brought up that you wanted to talk about more issue-driven things.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I did. I just really didn't appreciate that at the time. No one really cared what I had to say as a child. It bothers a lot of people. So I thought that it would be nice to have this sort of thing. Cushy chairs, not this many chairs, and we would talk about issues. Some important ones, some just random things. It was fun, and I enjoyed being able to complain about things and talk about my opinions in the studio. So that was one of my favorites, and I made sure we did a lot of that while I was here.
Yeah, I pretty thoroughly enjoyed our horrible group dynamics. Trying to get anything done was always a pleasure
Oh my
with
God.
everybody. Everybody got along. Great.
See, I know that you guys say that, and there was a lot of little interpersonal issues, but from dealing and teaching you guys and then teaching adults, you guys got a lot done. You know,
We just do it by yelling.
well, but you know, it's funny when you're your age, when you're a kid, you work all these things out verbally, or I come over and I work them out with you. When you adults are dealing with the same problems, that they like get the stiff upper lip and they're like, I'm just gonna be TCH about it, and then you know it gets so awkward. With you guys, it was great because we just work it out.
We'd fight
Great,
it out.
you'd fight it out. I'd yell at you, and then you'd get it done, and you ended up with some really great stuff. And like, you know, when we had the conversation after Sandy Hook, I feel like that was a really meaningful conversation. There was some research done. You guys did the research. I just led the conversation, and it was really good.
Yeah, that was a powerful one.
Yeah.
Alex?
I definitely enjoyed the animations here, and I'm really glad to see that we have a brand new animation studio because that old studio we had was packed.
It was literally a
It was a
closet.
closet, yep. And we would have to make the claymations there. We'd have to, you know, take the pictures, put it all together on the one computer in that place, and you could never get more than 2 people in there now. And now you could easily fit 8 people and have, you know, different stations going. You know, or some people making the clay and other people's just taking the pictures. So that looks awesome.
Now, what was your favorite production that came out of the time that you were here? I know that my personal favorite production that, like, one of the times that came out was El Taco Feo.
Oh my God.
Because it's just so hilariously bad. So,
And now we go to the clip.
Yes.
Our version of that, I think, was Apple's Victim Cyanide,
Yes.
which was
Yeah.
the cop show parody that we did. This was after AJ had already left us. This was during the era of Keith.
Keith, yeah.
And Keith,
Poor Keith.
I gave you a lot of problems, but you put up with it like a champ. So good job, Keith.
Poor Keith.
Yeah, I liked that production because I liked NCIS a lot. I still do. So we kind of parodied that a little bit, and I got to kick a door in, and it exploded, and it was great. And it was just so ridiculous.
I remember hearing about you guys doing that. And really, like, Keith did not know what was coming for him.
Yeah, we made him be the person doing the autopsy who really liked Barbies.
And,
Yes.
and I was the body on the floor, and they just were like, all right, for the next 2 hours, just lay on the floor. They at one point, they left to get lunch. I was just still laying there. I was just waiting for them to come back for like 20 minutes.
I'm sure it was lunch. But yeah, I do remember us leaving you on the floor.
Yeah.
Alex, you were also dead, weren't you?
Yeah, I was also a body, and I remember I just couldn't stop laughing during one scene. So we had to fix it post to make it so that I looked still while I was really just dying on the floor, just laughing so hard.
I forget, was Anthony in that production?
No, I think I did everything else.
Yeah, Anthony did
No,
everything
I went
else.
through a little camera
Smart.
shy phase there.
Smart.
But yeah,
Good
it was
choice.
fun. I know that the other cops, there was Miguel, and I think the other kid's name was Drew, or was it Dan?
Dan.
They were
It
fun.
was Dan.
I doubt they're watching now, but hi.
We used to have like a live trivia show too, and that was.
That was
Yeah.
fun.
I mean,
That's-
It worked
Yeah.
somehow.
that's my
Totally
favorite.
Trivia
Yeah.
Junior.
Totally
Yeah.
Trivia Junior, which was great because, you know, we'd get you guys going live. Do you know how rare that is to get,
Yeah.
like, we're going to just, like, let these kids go live, and you took the calls, and you did the thing, and I tried to just, you guys don't have an upstairs here anymore, but there's, like, an upstairs in the offices there where there's a window over the studio, and I would just kind of go up there and pace. I'm like, kind of look like this. And you guys had it all figured out, and you were doing your thing. And it was so much fun. It was so much
Yeah.
fun. And it was totally
Occasionally you
cuckoo.
were our only caller.
Occasionally I would
Yeah.
call.
Yes. It took
More
me
than
about 2
occasionally.
years to figure it out. Yeah,
Then
just
I was
every once in a
calling.
while, I was like, I recognize that voice. And then it's like, oh, I guess we're calling in if there's nobody
Right.
else
Yeah.
is.
I think Anthony called in once too.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Dylan was always. Dylan could talk
Yeah,
more.
I-
Spanish.
we
He was-
always had to act surprised when you called, was the hard part. So it's like, oh, hello, stranger. Who are you?
I was like always using a name like Rebecca.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. Or Rachel.
Oh,
yeah.
our loyal viewer, Rebecca.
Yeah.
But usually, and this is,
Dylan, Corey, and
you know, believe it or not, this is a trick we use in radio too, is that, you know, when if people are watching, they don't call in until they hear that first call.
Yeah.
So it's like, I would try to be that first call, and then I'd be like texting 80 people, I'd be like, would you freaking call in right now? The kids are
Sometimes it
alive.
was our parents.
Sometimes it's your parents.
Never mind parents, but sometimes our parents. Yeah. And then, Dylan, Corey, and Evan were pretty much always called on to host it.
Yeah.
I think I hosted one time, maybe. I usually like to stand behind the camera and cue everyone.
Yeah, you're really good at directing everybody.
Floor managing.
Floor
Yeah.
managing.
Yeah,
Yep.
that was my thing.
Yeah. And then, did you guys do the Christmas show?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
When we would have the kids call in for Santa?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was. No matter how many years I did it, Santa never remembered.
And then, you know, of course, it was always Santa and Mrs. Claus, but Victoria would come in and play Mrs. Claus. And then I think it's Jay
Yes.
that comes in and does Santa now.
Mhm.
That was always crazy.
Mm-hmm.
That was a fun one. And then I was always trying to get like little kids to come and be elves.
Yeah.
There was one year that only Dan came and he was the lone elf. He was like, I get like this great image of him sitting on the stage like, and we'd sing Jingle Bells. And then it was beautifully awful. It was wonderful.
Yeah.
It was public access.
All of our friends.
Yeah, so you're speaking of like holiday things you did. I know that we do something for Free Speech Day every year where we kind of talk about what free speech means to us. Did you guys do anything kind of similar to that?
Oh,
Really?
that's pretty rad.
We didn't do that.
PSA.
We did
PSA
Operation
Day.
Valentine every year. That was the thing we always did. And I think we always did something for veterans with like the scouts. Anthony would know more about
Yeah, we
that.
had like a PSA day.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so
we
we
did a
had-
couple
Like,
PSAs.
Would help people come in and make short advertisement PSA type things.
Yeah. I
Those
think
are something
our
else.
PSA Day was great. I think kind of our you know platform for freedom of speech was the Youth View.
Yep.
Yeah. Or you know, I wish there was a show called you know June hosts. This really grinds my gear.
That was basically what the
That
youth
was
view
absolutely
Is
was.
it what it was?
It was keeping me from freaking out on everyone at school.
But it was really good. I think we worked out like, I mean, that's kind of the great part about the youth producers is that, yeah, we're making television, we're teaching you guys practical skills, but you were working on issues and talking about things and getting to learn more about how you felt about issues.
Yeah, it was really fun. Definitely. Definitely.
So, were there any like sort of specific types of videos or like techniques that you like to use? Like, did you like animation more, or did you like youth views, or did you like storytelling?
Pretty much every month we would go through the same sort of thing. We do like one skit or like extra project, like Apple's Victim Cyanide during the month. And then we'd spend like 2 meetings per month usually doing like various like topics of the youth view and switching out who was in the chairs and making sure we got all of those things done. And then once a month while we were here, we would do Totally Trivia. That would be like one day.
Going live.
Yeah, we would set up the set and like get our questions and everything. The Valentine's Day one was my favorite one. That always gave me a lot of candy to eat and also like fun stuff to put in the set. And I think that's the times when it went the best. But yeah, so that was like usually our schedule. It was like youth views in the middle and then like once a month a skit and Totally Trivia. I don't know when they stopped doing that, probably after you were gone, but.
Yeah, we did one reunion special, and then I think it was pretty much done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, there were some months where only AJ or only Dylan and them wanted to do it. So, you know, so it was it was fun when we wanted to, but sometimes it was a little much. There were days when we were rushing to get questions like 10 minutes before we started
There was
after you were done.
There was one time where somebody was supposed to write the questions and didn't. So
Yeah.
Corey, Evan, and I just started frantically trying to figure out, all right, what's the topic? Google questions. And we got the page printed out 10 seconds before we went live.
Nice. Nice. That would
We're
never
good
fly.
at that.
Yeah.
But you did more animation stuff, right? Because I was
Yeah.
out of the animation realm. So.
Yeah, because I stayed till after Keith left.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's when we started to move to more of the animation stuff, which was a lot of fun. I know we did stuff with Legos and clay. And then I think we focused a little more on editing and using Final Cut because we didn't really do too much editing before. It was mostly studio and live, so that was a lot of fun.
Alex, were you in Clue?
No, I don't think.
Okay.
Not in Clue. I was in Clue, and I also have to go now.
Okay, bye, Tom.
Bye, Tom.
Yeah, I think when I was in the youth producers, I did most of the editing for our group because usually, like once I started getting into it more, because most of the time, like since Keith, I mostly started doing editing after Keith got here. But Keith mostly had other things to do aside from just edit all of our stuff, and I got mad because I wouldn't see our stuff up for like weeks and weeks. So I just started staying after an extra hour after we were done to edit our stuff and put it up. I don't think I got to everything that like I wish was online now, but like I got through a good amount of it and tried to make sure that all of our stuff ended up online. But
Well-
it's nice if you guys do more editing altogether.
Now there are more editing suites here now, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, because that was one of the things when I think we had, when I was working here, we only had, maybe 3 to 4 computers. And so we did a day, or was it a couple of days, where I said, all right, let's all just meet at the high school and use their computers. Because we had stuff to edit, but I couldn't get an editing station for everybody. And not everybody wanted to edit. Not everybody was good at editing. So, eventually, and, I could, usually crank stuff out, or you were here a lot, and there were some other people that did some editing too. But, yeah, it's nice that now there's more here to use.
I know there's more here, but there are only about 3 of us this year. So.
Ah! But still, you're doing stuff.
Yeah.
You're doing shows.
Now, we like to create a lot of kind of spoofs on things. Like I was talking, like when I asked Alex before, were you in Clue? Which was a spoof on kind of the classic Clue game. Then there was also another one that we did recently that was a parody on Blade Runner that we called Knife Walker. And then there was one that I don't know what happened to it, but we were working on kind of like the history of the world, like the spoof of that, but we called it History of the United States. Did you guys like to do any spoofs?
Apple's Victim Cyanide was a spoof of like NCIS. So we did do things like that. We also, one of the first things on the YouTube channel that I'm in was like we went on a safari
I
outside
remember that.
and AJ was in the back of a truck. And that was something.
Was I drunk that day?
Me?
Kidding, I was never drunk. You're gonna edit this, right?
This is good.
I don't remember that one. Well, we used to do, because you guys were younger, like when we started.
Yeah.
I remember Dominic. You guys remember Dominic?
I remember the name.
Dominic had like a photographic memory, and he could remember line by line of like a skit that he'd seen on TV or something he'd seen, and he would want to always act it out. So we would do little monologue things with him where it was more of like he'd be doing his own twist on it, not quite a spoof, but he'd want it. And then I'd be like, where is he coming up with this? And then one of you guys would be like, that's from SpongeBob, or that's from this. And I'm like, damn it. But, his ability to remember something, like literally word for word, was really cool. And that's the kind of thing about all of you guys, is you brought like a little your own flavor to something. Anthony was really a leader, and his order is like, I want to do this thing. Oh, nobody's doing audio. I'm going to do the audio, and getting on the board, or I'm going to do really like filling in.
Yeah, Anthony did whatever no one else
Wanted to do. They're quite the Boy Scout.
Yes.
But, and then you all like came with your little pieces, and there was that point where I got really frustrated with all of you, and I'm like, you have to pick your own representative. You have to pick a leader.
Oh,
And I made you-
remember that.
I'm like, and you're going to have to give them, you are endowing that person with the authority to say, we're going to do X, Y, and Z, and this is how we're going to lead the group. and you like pretty much all picked Dylan.
Yeah.
It was so cool.
Dylan held the group together through some of the bad years. It was, yeah. It was an interesting time. I feel like that talking to that we got from you about needing a representative, I was probably fighting with Joe very loudly, as we would sometimes do. And also, he probably pissed you off by singing the Narwhal song.
Oh
Again.
my God. Can I just tell you? Okay, the Narwhal song, for those of you that don't know about it, cut to clip. Okay. The song follows me
Is that
everywhere.
to this day?
To this day. I get like, it's either you or Chris Kelly or somebody else will like play the Narwhal song at me. And I was like, so you guys are older. But when this Narwhal,
I guess Joe's a warlock.
I'm like, narwhals,
He's cursed
narwhals.
you so many
Don't let them
years.
touch your balls. I'm like, we can't do that. we can't talk about balls. We can't do that. You're gonna edit this, right? No, I was, because I really wanted you guys to just do things you wanted to. Like, this was your space to do that. But at the same time, I had to guide you down this path of appropriateness. And it was like, dang it, this song is really catchy. This is so inappropriate.
It's in my head now.
It's in our heads right now. Anyway.
I just know that used to drive me crazy every
Oh my God.
meeting. Like if Joe wanted to avoid something or just stall the meeting for like 10 minutes, he'd start singing that while you'd go on your rant about why he shouldn't be singing.
Yep. You know, one thing that we did, I don't know if you guys remember it, there was, and I don't think everybody participated, but I had asked all of you at one point, how was Cape Cod made?
Oh, yes.
Yeah, and I asked you to tell me how it was actually made, and then I asked you to tell me a made-up story, and we edited those together, and that's one of my favorite pieces. I share that with people.
I think you did the same thing with Thanksgiving, too.
I did.
How did Thanksgiving
I
come
feel
about?
like I vaguely remember this.
Yeah, I'm like, tell me the story of Thanksgiving. Now, tell me a made-up story of Thanksgiving. And we kind of did a spoof, unmashed that up, and that was kind of fun. We should do more of that. We should just do that. Anyway.
So what was your AJ, your favorite part of leading like youth producers?
The end.
Go on.
I'll be honest with you, there were times I was like, oh my God, all these kids are gonna come in here and we're gonna have to be productive and oh my God, what are we gonna do today? And they're all so different. And then you guys would get here and we'd just have fun. And I feel like you would learn things. I don't know, do you guys remember me giving you the non-test test?
Yeah. Yeah.
You guys probably don't do this anymore because they're not hard asses like I was. Meanies. Anyway, I used to give a test in the beginning just to see what you knew, and then I would give you
what kind of cables.
what kind of cable, what kind of pickup pattern did a microphone have, what is a tilt, what is a pan. Can you guys answer any of those questions? We should give them the non-test test. No, I'm just kidding. But yeah. It was so I'd give you this little test, and then at the end you'd be like, oh yeah, I know these things, and then next year would come around and you'd completely forgotten.
Oh yeah.
And then we start again. So it was like you were learning things, but you guys were having fun. And when we were having fun and goofing off, we were trying to make television. Of course, my goal was to say, no, let's make like meaningful television. But at the end of the day, you guys were learning skills and having fun together. And that was really fun for me. And then it was an added bonus that you guys got to be able to use public access as the platform it was meant to be, which is a soapbox for your thoughts and ideas. And yeah, we're doing goofy stuff, and that's fun, and that's where you get to experiment. But at the same time, you all have opinions and voices that really matter. And this is one of the last bastions of that freedom of speech that you were able to use, and you guys got to use it at a really young age, and have continued to use that voice in different ways. That was really rewarding for me.
I think it's a little more fun than Twitter, too.
Yeah,
A little more fun than Twitter.
Good
a
time.
little more visual than Twitter.
Yeah.
Definitely.
All right. And I just want to thank you all for being here. Thank you for coming back. So that is going to be wrapping up this episode of Youth View, which will be our final one for this year. So we'll have to see you next year.